Hi guys, Brett Atwater here. Welcome to my Week 6 Stardom or Situm segment. You know the drill. Stardom quarterbacks. Brian Hoyer, Chicago Bears at home versus Jacksonville. Yep, I'm rolling the dice this week. If I wanted to pick someone easy, I'd say Tom Brady versus the Bengals or Cam Newton against the Saints, but I'll take a shot with Hoyer this week. Throwing over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns with only 1 interception over his last 3 starts, he's been very fantasy-friendly since taking over for the injured Jay Cutler. At home against the Jaguars this week, who are 26 against opposing quarterbacks this season, I like the matchup and expect Hoyer to put up fringe QB1 numbers this week. Other quarterbacks I would start this week. Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh Steelers, away at Miami. Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints, at home to Carolina, and Marcus Mariota, Tennessee Titans, at home versus the Cleveland Browns. Sit-em quarterbacks this week. Colin Kaepernick, San Francisco 49ers, away at the Buffalo Bills. Cap's been in the media a lot this season, and he's finally getting a chance to start. Is he worth a start? I don't think so. A lot of people forget that Kaepernick lost his starting job last season to Blaine Gabbert. Yes, Blaine Gabbert, because of poor quarterback play. I don't like the matchup this week away at the Bills, who are the third best defense against opposing quarterbacks this season. I think Kaepernick could be fantasy relevant at some point because of his rushing, but I would steer clear until he proves it on a consistent basis. Other quarterbacks I would sit this week. Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons, away at Seattle. Kirk Cousins, Washington Redskins, at home to Philadelphia. And Eli Manning, New York Giants, at home to Baltimore. Stardom running backs this week. LaShawn McCoy, Buffalo Bills, at home against San Francisco. Shady is absolutely tearing it up since offensive coordinator Anthony Lynn took over. With over 100 total yards each of the last 3 games, you like the matchup against the San Francisco 49ers, who are 27th against opposing running backs this season. If Shady can find the end zone this week, I think he might be the number 1 running back in fantasy. You heard it here first. Other running backs I would start this week. DeMarco Murray, Tennessee Titans, at home versus the Cleveland Browns. Melvin Gordon, San Diego Chargers, at home versus Denver. CJ Anderson, Denver Broncos, away at San Diego. And my breakout pick this week is Lamar Miller, Houston Texans, at home versus the Colts to have a monster game. Sit-em running backs this week. Isaiah Crowell, Cleveland Browns. It hurts me to say this as I have Crowell in 3 of the 8 fantasy football leagues I'm in, but I absolutely hate this matchup. The Tennessee Titans defense are the 5th best against opposing running backs over the first 5 weeks this season. Match that with the fact that they are at home against a poor Cleveland Browns team who will probably be trailing for the majority of the game and in catch-up mode. Crowell should be on your bench this week. Duke Johnson might be alright, especially in PPR. Other running backs I would sit this week. Jeremy Hill, Cincinnati Bengals, away at New England. Matt Jones, Washington Redskins, at home to Philadelphia. And Terrence West, Baltimore Ravens, away at the New York Giants. Wide receivers I would start week 6. Larry Fitzgerald, Arizona Cardinals. The ageless Fitzgerald is the 7th best wide receiver in ESPN standard scoring over the first 5 weeks and goes up against the New York Jets secondary, who is 31st against opposing wide receivers so far this season. Carson Palmer should be back this Monday night, and Fitzgerald, who has at least 5 catches in each game this season, should expect him to keep up his hot play and hopefully find the end zone for a 6th touchdown at home on Monday night. Other wide receivers I would start, and there's a bunch this week. Antonio Brown and Sammy Coates, Pittsburgh Steelers, away at Miami. Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper at home versus the Chiefs. Kelvin Benjamin, Carolina Panthers, away at New Orleans. And Cole Beasley, Dallas Cowboys, away at Green Bay. Wide receivers I would sit week 6. Brandon Marshall, New York Jets. Okay, If you have Marshall, which I do in a couple leagues, I'm still starting him, but I don't like the matchup this week away at Arizona. There's a good chance he will be shadowed by Patrick Peterson, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. The Jets have just placed Eric Decker on the IR, so that gives the Cardinals even more incentive to double cover Marshall and force Fitzpatrick to throw the ball elsewhere this week. Volume and game flow could benefit Marshall, but I wouldn't hold your breath on a big week. Other wide receivers I would sit week 6. Travis Benjamin and Tyrell Williams, San Diego, at home to Denver. Jarvis Landry, Miami Dolphins, at home to Pittsburgh. And Jamison Crowder, Washington Redskins, at home to Philadelphia. Tight ends I would start week 6. Delaney Walker, Tennessee Titans. Walker wins the lottery this week and gets to play against the Cleveland Browns, who are the 32nd, yes, the absolute worst in the league against opposing tight ends. Walker, who has missed a game this season, is still the 6th best tight end in ESPN standard scoring. Though his volume hasn't been great, I expect him to have a big week and find the end zone against the Browns defense, who has given up 5 touchdowns and 250 yards against opposing tight ends the last 2 weeks. Other tight ends I would start week 6. Both Rob Gronkowski and Martellus Bennett, New England Patriots, at home against Cincinnati. Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chiefs, away at the Oakland Raiders. Jimmy Graham, Seattle Seahawks, at home to Atlanta. And Jesse James, Pittsburgh Steelers, away at Miami. Tight ends I would set week 6. Jack Doyle, Colts. After a breakout week 1, Doyle has really cooled down the last 4 weeks and only has 13 catches for 114 yards over the last 4 weeks. It looks like a real tight end by committee between him and Dwayne Allen, with no clear number 1. Going up against the Texans defense, who are second against opposing tight ends so far this season, the matchup isn't great, and I would most certainly look elsewhere this week. Other tight ends I would sit week 6. Jacob Tamme, Atlanta Falcons, away at Seattle. Vance McDonald, San Francisco 49ers, away at Buffalo. Hunter Henry, San Diego Chargers, at home to Denver. And Clive Walford, Oakland Raiders, at home to the Chiefs. I don't like picking defenses or kickers to start or sit each week because of the uncertainty, but I would start these 3 defenses and pick them up if they're available in your league. The Tennessee Titans, the Chicago Bears, and the Pittsburgh Steelers all have favorable matchups this week. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video. My Twitter info is below. Feel free to tweet your lineup questions to me and I promise I'll answer them. Best of luck in all your matchups week 6 and I'll see you guys next week. Take care.